Let me begin by, well, I want to thank everyone who's here, all of the organizations, but especially Congresswoman Bordallo for her extraordinary commitment to these programs, and Dave Barron, who has somehow magically, across recent years, created kind of a sweet spot for international conservation with this foundation, bringing together many members of Congress who are not normally seen in each other's company, but who are united together with the cause of international conservation. I would like to add, in my few minutes, a note of urgency that I think compels attention and support for this hemispheric conservation effort. Now, the name of this project is Wildlife Without Borders. But there's an irony here of history which suggests to me that in Latin America, it's precisely borders, the existence of national borders, which have historically protected so much habitat and, in effect, prevented the kind of development that can be so destructive. The South American countries in particular, but also Central American, have, over the last century, have each developed internally without much regional or national integration. South America is a continent in which wildlife has been protected by isolation, by the very existence of national borders which have not been united by roads and dams or infrastructure. In the last 3 or 4 years, there has been an enormous continent-wide change that has received very little notice. It has come in the form of an international infrastructure project, actually 2 of them. One in Central America known as Plan Puebla, Panama, and in the entire continent of South America, a plan known by the acronym IRSA, that stands for Initiative for Regional Integration and Infrastructure in South America. It is an attempt to end this isolation of the South American countries. It is an attempt to integrate the continent and break down national borders through the construction of infrastructure, dams, roads, pipelines, transmission corridors. It is an attempt to do, in the space of 10 to 15 years, all that has been done in the North American continent in the last 150 years. It began 3 or 4 years ago with the construction of a highway called the Interoceanic, extraordinary project leading out of the center of the Brazilian Amazon, westward to the Peruvian border, up the eastern face of the Andes, 15,000 feet, to top out above Cusco, and then to reach the Pacific through Peru. That one road, the Interoceanic, erases all of the national and political borders and opens the heart of the Amazon basin to human traffic, development of all kinds, good, bad, and indifferent, agriculture, industrial, on a scale that will transform the Amazon basin forever. Now, that highway, the Interoceanic, will be done at the end of 2009. But if you go to the website of this infrastructure plan for South America, in which all of the countries are participating, you'll see that that's the first road to the Amazon. It will be followed by 2 more from the Amazon, where it says Brazil, over the Andes to Peru to the Pacific. That's 3 interoceanic highways out of the Amazon through Peru. There will then be one through Ecuador, up the Rio Napo, bordering Yasuni National Park down to the Pacific. Colombia, not to be outdone, has what's known as the Putumayo Corridor, another international highway centered in the Amazon. There will be one in Venezuela, another one called the peripheral through the Guayanas, and one coming through the Beni River Valley of Bolivia. When this network is together with the construction of as many as 100 hydropower dams in the Amazon basin, the convergence will be straight to the heart of the Amazon in Manaus, which, under this infrastructure plan, will become the industrial center of the South American continent. Now, I describe that by way of emphasizing that the borders are disappearing. The urge to unite through infrastructure and development is taking place in Latin America on a scale that has never been conceived anywhere on this planet. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, our partnerships obviously are not aimed at political change. But what they are aimed at, it seems to me, is empowering and training local universities, organizations, NGOs, individuals about the importance of wildlife conservation. There is emerging slowly in Latin America quite a robust local response, traceable in almost every case to someone who's been educated in the United States, who participated in a fish and wildlife management program, who worked with the Nature Conservancy, the WWF, the other groups. And the importance of this effort is that as the development scales up and as the threat of enormously destructive consequences appears on the horizon, we may not be able to change that here in Washington, but it is not going to be stopped or abolished. These development processes can be shaped by who? By local organizations in countries involved, whether it's Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, coming together, using and developing their resources to begin to influence more effectively the development trajectories that are now threatening so much of this landscape and which are so badly in need of input and participation. The kind of input and participation that you saw in that film. Not from podiums in Washington, but from universities in Latin America, local NGOs, the leaders on the ground, the local communities, training and ability to voice their concerns. And that, in summary, is really the reason that I'm here to say, having worked with this program for many, many years. I celebrate the success, but I come with an urgent message, which is we must now scale up from that success, because what's taking place is moving to a scale we've never had to contend with before. So that's the reason that I would simply conclude by saying they've done a great job. The participating groups here in the United States have done a wonderful job. We need to expand it tenfold and 100-fold in terms of partnerships, in terms of local engagement. And for that, we need your support for this program. Thank you.